Hi, I'm Abe Duque, and I just came back from Russia to road test the Korg Monotribe. I'm going up to Dubspot to see what it is that we learned on the road.
What you gon' do?
I teach, I travel, I DJ. I'm Abe Duque. This is Abe's Road Test.
Today I fly to Russia. Flight leaves in about 3 or 4 hours. Just getting my stuff ready and packed up. Just wanted to show you how I pack my sets. I've been for a very long time working on having a set that can fit in a very small carry-on. Here are some of the items that I carry with me, and as you see, here's the Korg Monotribe fitting right in to my paradigm of a very small set.
I just arrived here in Moscow. My good friend Sasha just picked me up, getting some gas. Hey Sasha, say hello.
Hello.
I'm gonna go to bed because I gotta play tonight, and that flight was long. Okay, I'm here in Moscow at the Club of the Roof, and I'm road testing the Korg Monotribe, and I'm here with some good friends of mine. State your name.
Sasha, nice to meet you, everybody.
All right, and
I'm Rodriguez Jr.
all right, and we are having here, I'm putting in front of his face, the Korg Monotribe.
Wow.
Oh, it's Allen.
So,
Man! All right, so this is my setup here. And here is the Korg Monotribe. Ready to go. I have it synced up with a little pulse there. And it's coming in through that channel right there. Cool, huh?
Alright, so once again, the party was good last night. Managed to use the Korg Monotribe quite a lot. Had a lot of fun playing with it, but not easy to record yourself while you're playing. But trust me on this one, had a really good time with it. Let's get back to Dubspot, where I can show you what I learned about how to use the Korg Monotribe on the road. See you at Dubspot.
Here we are with the Monotribe rhythm station. Just got back from my gig in Moscow where I tested this thing out. So voltage control oscillator controls the oscillation of the actual waveform that you choose. We have 3 waveforms here, a sawtooth, a triangle, and a square wave. The VCF, which is the voltage control filter, now decides what tone it's going to have, whether it has a high tone or a low pass, which now we're just letting the low pass if we turn it to the left. And the peak provides us with a little bit of resonance to give us that little screamy sound. The voltage control amplifier is just the amplifying department of the machine. What happens here is that we can choose one of these 3 patterns to select what type of the waveform we'll play in. From the voltage control amplifier, it's going to go into the LFO if we like, and at that point I can go ahead and choose a VCO to be modulated by the LFO, or a VCF. Remember, the VCO is the voltage control oscillator and the VCF is the voltage control filter, or I could actually make it so it controls both. Now here we have a range of how the LFO is going to work. The LFO can either work in a fast way, making these knobs very sensitive, a slow way, giving you a easier way to deal with these knobs, or a one-shot mode in which the LFO gets triggered every time a note gets played. Now the LFO can choose between these 3 waveforms to do its job. In addition to the VCO running through the VCF into the LFO, we have a nice noise generator with a volume knob here. the machine provides us 3 rudimentary but pretty cool sounding analog drum sounds. A bass drum, a snare drum, and a hi-hat. The drums are programmed by using the old school step sequence mode. So if I wanted to program the bass drum, I just go ahead and step it in. Snare drum, hi-hat. To get to the intermediate steps, I hold down the particular button that I like. So in this case, we're going to put some intermediate hi-hats in there. Intermediate bass drums. Pretty cool. Now, I'm on Korg's website a little while ago, and I realized that lo and behold, they have a OS2 for this thing. I'm like, OS2? How can that be possible? This thing is like totally old school and analog with switches, knobs, buttons, huh? But yeah, it seems to be true. Apparently, they provide you with an audio file which you play into the sync import for some reason, and it uses like the technology that a fax machine uses, and maybe an old modem. Well, they used to call that handshaking. Well, anyway, with that, you get the information in here, it upgrades it, and it gives you all this crazy functionality. Stuff like 16-step sequencing and sample hold and a whole list of other things that I was like, no way. So if this is true, this is going to change the game totally. I mean, I love this thing already as it was, but now it's going to make it priceless. In order to determine what version the Monotribe actually has, you can hold down gate and play and turn it on. And when that happens, if the green light is flickering above the flux, then that means you have version 1. So my green light is flickering, as you might see, so that means I need to upgrade it to version 2. You'll need a stereo mini jack 1/8 inch to 1/8 inch cable, which I'm going to plug into the back of my, or the side of my computer. And what you plug it into on the Monotribe is the sync in. Okay, a lot of people might think that you plug it into the audio in over here, but it's actually not. It's the sync in which it goes into. What you'll need to do next is turn the piece off, and then holding down the flux, hi-hat, and step 1 buttons, let's see if I can do that with one hand, I'm going to turn it back on. And that is supposed to kick it into update mode. And now we have these 3 lights lit up here, the synth, bass drum, and snare drum, and that tells me that it is correctly awaiting a signal to go ahead and be updated. So I'm going to go ahead and reach out for my signal here and play it from my computer. When the update has been successfully completed, the play LED alone will be lit. So I'm going to turn it back on again now, and I'm going to press play and gate while I turn it on to see what version it's on. And now, before on version 1, you only had this one green light flickering, and now I have the green light and the red light, which means I have successfully updated it to version 2. Okay, so the next thing that I wanted to show you that OS2 allows us to do is record volume changes in the synth pattern. So let's play this. Got a synth pattern going there. I'm going to turn down the drums for now so you can hear this better. So you hear the synth pattern. Now I put it back in record mode. I hold the active step button, and then I can go up and down, changing the volume by using the ribbon. And now the volume changes that I'm doing are being recorded. So in version 1, you were able to do active step for the whole pattern, meaning the drums and the synth. Active step was a way to omit certain steps so that you can create sort of polyrhythms. Now in version 2, it's letting us do each part individually, which is fantastic. Now watch, I'm going to play a pattern here. Now I'm going to put only the sync part in active step mode. I'm going to hold down synth and hold down active step. And now I'm going to take out 5 steps out of the 8 that are playing. And now it sequences within 3, notes, while the drums stay doing their original thing. Now I could do the same thing. Now let's say if I wanted to do it to a hi-hat, hold down the hi-hat, hold on active step, and let's say I just wanted to sequence and just two hi-hat notes. Bass drum or snare drum, let's see the bass drum here. Active step, I could do that at 1. And now we have all the parts playing polyrhythmically, individually. Kind of cool. Now another feature that Upgrade OS 2 lets you do is drum roll for the individual drum sounds. Now if I play the pattern here and I take the hi-hat sound and hold down the gate, I can make all these cool rolls happen with it. Over here it sounds more like some sort of fill, and getting down to the edge over here can actually change the groove of the actual part you played. So let's record that in. Now you don't have a robotic hi-hat pattern as you had in the first version. You can actually have patterns that come to life. So if you remember the old movies when they created a computer sound to go with that old big gigantic computer, it takes you back to all that 70s great sci-fi programming like Battlestar Galactica, Logan's Run, Star Wars. They always used to take these synthesizers and use this feature called sample hold or sample and hold. And basically what sample hold is a way to sample a bit of that waveform on the LFO and take the random noise generator here and allow it to like shoot it out at different voltages in a random way. And basically you get this jarbled sort of crazy sound. So let's hear what that sounds like. I have the regular pattern here. Now this works only in one-shot mode. You have to put it in one-shot mode and you have to use these fancy new function buttons and press gate 5 for function, and suddenly this LFO turns into a sample hold feature. And if you can hear, it has that fantastic data sound from back in the days. The last thing I'd like to talk about in version 2 is the addition of function buttons. So now when you hold down gate, it switches gate to a modifier or shift button, and now you can press any of these 1 through 8 step buttons, and each of them has an individual function. So the first step clears all patterns. The second step clears the synth part. The third step clears the drum sequence. The fourth step clears all active steps. The fifth one, now there's where it starts being on-off switches. The first 4 one-shots, 5 through 8 are going to be on-off switches. Now mainly I play with Ableton as a main hub for everything. And what I did was I basically took an output from the Korg Monotribe and plugged it into the input of my sound card. In this instance we have the Audio 8. And I brought it up in one of my channels in Ableton. Now I use Ableton as a main hub for everything. And so now if I play this, you can see that it's coming up on the channel in Ableton. And if you'll notice, the same channel has a compressor already built into it, which I've thrown in there. I can go ahead and grab a limiter and do the same and throw it after that. And then decide what threshold that'll be under. And that way we can save ourselves from some sort of unfortunate accident. It's cool enough that I could bring it in through Ableton, but I can't really play it together with Ableton unless it's synced. Now, how can I sync this machine, which has no MIDI, to a machine, a computer with MIDI? Well, we use an old school system called Gate. And basically what it is the Monotribe has these sync in and out ports here, which use a 5-volt pulse coming out of it. So we're going to take an 1/8 inch plug it into the out of the Monotribe. So now I can play the Monotribe, and what's happening now is through this cable is coming a sync pulse. And I'm going to plug that into our sound card. And now if I enable a track here, you can see we're getting in a sync pulse. I'm going to get that in mono so that I can grab that. And you see that? That's the sync pulse that's coming from the machine. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to take and record that pulse. And if you see, it's recording that pulse. I'm going to take that pulse now. I'm going to stop the playback here for a little minute. Unplug it from here since we don't need it anymore. And I'm going to take this, grab it, and put it at a value here that we can use. Set a warp marker on it here. Actually, I'm going to right click and stop playing for a second. And I'm going to move that loop point there, holding this here. And let's see, let's play that. That should be just one pulse. Pretty fast. Let's increase the size of that. Throw another warp marker at the end of this over here so that we can pull the sound and not get into that second pulse. So now we have one pulse clicking at the rate that we wanted to have it. So what we'll do now that we have the pulse recorded and warped right, we're going to take it and put it on an external output, and we're going to go to, it's time 3 and 4, and we're going to use the same cable we used to record the pulse, and we're going to plug it into 3 and 4, the output on 3 and 4, and this time we're going to plug it into the in port of our Monotribe. I've recorded the pulse in. I've set it up on my Ableton, warped it out, put it on the track by itself, put it on an external output, plugged in the cable into the import, and now we'll see if it'll sync up. So let's hit play. Okay, so as you hear, it's trying to do something. Okay, as you see on my level here, the level of my playback is really in the red, really high. The point of that was for me to show you that this is a really important variable as to how it syncs when you have this going on. If it's too high, it's going to give you a freaked out sort of sync back. If it's too low, it won't sync at all. You gotta kind of find the sweet spot for it, and then it's right in the place where it needs to be, and it's synced up. Now let me play, I have a loop in here somewhere. Make that loop a little lower so you can hear that they're working out. Now, in Ableton, you have these little track delay features where you could offset the timing. So if it's a little bit off or on, you can go ahead and push it in time or pull it back in time until you get it in the right place. Now, let me talk to you about, first of all, this danger knob. This thing here, the peak resonance, is the thing you gotta watch out for. What happens is, if you turn this too much, it's gonna get shrill and crazy too fast. What I did was, I ran the whole machine through an input on my sound card going into Ableton, and on Ableton, I designed a compressor slash limiter that served as a safety net for me in case I went crazy with this knob. Now, I was aware of it, so I didn't turn it too much, but I was glad to have that safety net, and maybe you should think about doing the same. So one thing that I really missed while I was playing with this thing live was the on-the-fly tuning possibility that, say, a 303 would give you. Now, I use this thing in a cue system. I put this thing through my sound card in Ableton and queued it up so that I could hear it only on the headphone, prepare a pattern, and then bring it up. What happens is, with this little ribbon, it's really hard to get a precise note playing situation. So you end up playing cool stuff, but who knows what key it's going to be in. When you do that, you can't then tune it. So, you know, you end up having to decide whether you're going to throw something in that might be dissonant with your track, or is it cool enough that I can make it work. So lack of tuning, not a good thing. The other thing is, when this thing comes from the factory, it doesn't ship with a power supply. It tells you basically go out and get your own batteries. Actually, it does come with your first set of Korg batteries, but after that, you're supposed to fill in your own batteries. I thought, oh my God, I'm gonna go crazy buying batteries, but I've had the same batteries in there for like, I don't know, a couple of months now, and the thing hasn't died. The batteries last a very long time, so very good point. So if you have one of these things, to make it cooler, there are all these mods out there that you could add. You could basically take all the drum sounds and have separate outputs for them. The circuitry is set up such a way that you could actually mod it so that you could have decay on all the drum sounds as well. There's a company that offers a MIDI tribe upgrade for it, which really takes 5 minutes. You just take the back piece off of it and plug it in there, and it offers MIDI functionality with velocity and volume control. So one of the things that I must point out about this thing that really disappointed me was the fact that it has an audio input and you can run audio through the filter, but it only works while you have a pattern playing. As in its smaller brother, the Monotron, you can run the audio through the input and actually filter it with the beautiful filter derived from the MS-20. You can't actually do that with the one from the Monotribe. You could actually filter it only as the other pattern is playing, which kind of defeats the purpose of having that in there. To sum it up, this thing is pretty damn cool. For the price that you're going to pay for this thing, you can't get anything to beat it. And the fact that you could mod it and actually upgrade it to increase functionality makes it a must-have. I wish it had tuning, I wish it had glide, but then again, maybe that goes to price point. So this was Abe's road test, and this was the Korg Monotribe. Okay, so we're back at... Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Are you ready? There's all these mods out there. Okay, wait. Not you know. Okay, calm it down, Abe. Now, as you know, I went to Moscow. That's right. Okay.
Okay.
Welcome to Dubspot. We believe in providing you hands-on experience right away. Whether you're completely new to music and want to turn the sounds in your head into a musical reality, or you're an experienced artist looking to refine your skills and add new tools to your arsenal, we're ready to meet you at your level. For students of all ages, all levels, and all styles of music, Dubspot is here to help you achieve your goals. With course offerings both online wherever you are and at our school in the heart of New York City, we are ready to guide you through the next phase of your musical transformation. Whether you want to produce music, DJ, or do both, you've come to the right place. Come explore Dubspot for yourself, become a part of our community, and make music.